welcome to Connection Yoga. I just want to say real quick, yoga is for everyone. However, when online, it is up to the individual to assess whether they are ready or not to participate in the class that they have chosen. If you suffer from specific disease, illness, or injury, or are pregnant, it is important for you to consult with your physician before beginning. The practice of yoga requires that you, the practitioner, need to gauge the safety of your practice within your own personal and physical limitations. I'm not there, I'm not in your body, so I can't. You need to pay attention and act accordingly. It is always better for you to build up slowly rather than force or strain. While you might feel exertion throughout the practice, you should also feel relaxed. While you might feel some discomfort, you should never feel pain. The techniques and suggestions presented in the following content are not intended to substitute for proper medical care. Consult your physician before beginning any new exercise program. Connection Yoga assumes no responsibility for injuries suffered while participating in the yoga content. The user assumes all risks. With that, I can't wait to see you on the mat, and I'll see you there.
Hey people of the world, welcome to my channel Connection Yoga. Kat here with Roscoe off wandering around giving me kisses. Today we are going to be breaking it down for the first time. So the intention of these segments is to take a yoga pose and break it down for you so that your personal practice can be strengthened by having a body alignment that is aimed to keep you as stabilized and centered and safe as possible. So the yoga methodology that I use is called True North Alignment, and essentially this is just the way that we look at the body, that I look at the body, that you can look at it while you're practicing and go through each section of yourself to get yourself in the alignment that we suggest. So the first pose we are going to be doing today is downward facing dog, which I went back and forth about. I thought maybe some of the more beginner poses such as child's pose and mountain pose might be better, but then again I thought it would be logical to start with the poses that we do the most. So starting with down dog, which maybe we can get Roscoe to do one here. There it is. That's right, buddy. I don't think you even need me now, but just kidding. The first question you might have is the distance between your hands and your feet. So I'm going to be getting down on the mat. Sorry, Roscoe. All right. So which distance you want is if you get up into a high push-up and you're high up on your toes like I am, high up on them, got in. If you press back down to down dog from there, I'm going to step up a little bit because I'm at the back of my mat. That is the distance that you need between your hands and your feet, about a plank's worth. So next is the first section of the body. So that's feet through legs, feet through legs. So this is a huge part of it. Starting with your feet, you want them at 12 o'clock at hip width. So this is about 2 fist width or wider. Some people bring them closer, but we suggest hip width. With your feet pressing into the earth, the heels reaching towards the earth, but they may not be touching, and that's okay. That's something that you'll just work towards. All right, so with your feet pressing equally on the inside and the outside,
you'll move up to your knees. There should be a slight bend in them to as big of a bend as you need, such that with the bend, we are prioritizing the length in the spine over the straightness of the legs. All right? So, pressing your feet, keeping that soft bend, will start to stabilize your legs into your hips. So, the next section of the body is the hips and lower back region. So, right up in here. What you want from this region is your hips to be square to the earth with your sit bones pressing up towards the sky. So, hips square, hip bones, hello, pressing up, all right? And you can press your legs in to press those hip bones up. Your lower back should be engaged because your core should be engaged. So that brings me to the next section of the body, which is our beautiful core here. It should be drawn in order to protect the spine here and to really secure our pelvis position pressing up and back. So this is our torso free floating spine area. So it should be engaged and our torso should be in line with our arms. I've seen a lot of people press low or be up here. You should be in line, elbows by your ears. All right? So, we've got feet through our legs, our hips and lower back region. We've got our core and torso, which brings us to our chest, shoulder, and arms. All right? This is the area that has the most potential to be done unsafely because we have a ton of movement in our shoulders. So we have a ton of ability to move wherever when we're pressing in downward dog. But this is what we suggest in order to keep yourself safe. So hands are at 12 o'clock where your pointer fingers are pointing forward so you can see your left and rights, all right? Your fingers are spread across the mat with your hands pressing down. Just as your heels are pressing, your hands are to find the length, all right? A soft bend in your elbows. You don't ever want to lock out your elbows or your knees. Soft bend. With the upper arm bone pressing into the shoulder socket. All right, in. All right, and it's hard to see. So, with our hands pressing, our elbows soft bend, and our shoulder bones pressing into our shoulder socket, that leads our shoulder blades to be drawn slightly together and down our back body. All right? And this is as stable of a shoulder position as we can get. All right? So I'm going to do that now on the ground. So hands pressing, elbows bent, shoulders together and down the back. Which leaves us with our head. What to do? You want a neutral neck in line with the long spine and gaze between your feet at the back of the mat. And there you go. So, downward dog is an incredible pose. While it is considered a resting pose, if it's done with really solid body alignment and engagement, it can be quite intense, but also quite beneficial for the body. So, with the intensity, one thing we can do to guide ourselves through it is our breath, of course. So, when we're in the pose, we want to be breathing the energy up
the upper side of our body and down through our heels. Breathe it in up like a circle almost.
All right? So, when you're in it, you want to breathe, press your hands. Exhale, press your hips. All right?
And that's just one way you can help yourself within the pose and to really connect with the limbs of your body, because they're supporting you, they're engaged, and eventually it will all come together. I know it sounds like a lot, but it will come together in the end. All right? And to get there, you can use modifications. All right? So the easiest one that you can do is on the wall. So you've got your legs hip width, and you're on the wall doing it. All right? It takes the weight off your arms so that you can really start to focus on the form and your body alignment without having to carry your own body weight quite yet. All right? Once you've got that, you can up to a chair, or I've got this bed frame right here that I'm going to be using. Be careful if it's going to move. All right? So that gets you a little bit lower. All right? A little lower, but not all of your weight is pressing into your arms. You can still work on technique, but work your way in, and that's okay. The final way that you could help yourself is if you have a blanket or a t-shirt or something, you can fold it up and put it underneath your heels to help in that area. If your heels are really not wanting to touch the ground, support yourself there so that you can press a little bit more. All right, and you can put a blanket in. Those are just some modifications to help yourself get into the downward dog position. So yeah, learning how to organize the bearing of weight through your hands and your upper body can be great recuperation for the stresses that we put on our bodies, specifically our upper body, from sitting at desks or using computers for an extended amount of time. So this can be great work for body awareness to help us work on those postural muscles and our body awareness within the yoga and without the yoga, off the mat. So I hope you learned a little bit more about downward dog. If you have any questions or comments about things that I said, put it below. If you like this, hit me a like and subscribe. If you didn't like, give me a dislike and let me know why. Thanks again for being here, and until next time, I'm Kat. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.